You are Black in the Green Room with me, your host, Keith Underwood. And this is your spot for real talk about entertainment with entertainers, creatives, and showbiz professionals. And my guest today needs no introduction. He is the multi-talented director, actor, choreographer, and dancer, Darrin Dewitt Henson. Darrin, what's up, man?
It's great to be on with you. It's great to be on with you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. And like I said, I hope it's been a great one and will continue to be a prosperous one filled with creativity, man.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'm so grateful and thankful. You know, people wait to the new year to be grateful. I'm grateful every day.
Yes, absolutely. I feel the same, Darrin. And I don't do resolutions. What about you? Do you do resolutions?
I absolutely do resolutions, and because the word resolution comes from the word resolve, and
Mm.
so when I resolve something, it's done. So I don't have to do the same resolution over and over. Once I resolve it, it is done.
Yeah. And man, for me, it's just like I put plans into place. And so I just kind of continue through, with those plans and I just stay prayed up and hope that, manifestation takes place and it just blossoms. That's
Yes, sir.
always that's always my hope anyway.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. What have you been up to on the fun side here lately? What have you been doing to entertain yourself?
Well, all of it is fun. You know, they say when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's
Uh,
right.
on New Year's Eve, I was in Fairfield, California, Northern California, because I was actually showing my film, "A House Ain't a Home," in a church down there, Bethel Church, and we got huge congregation to come on out and celebrate with us. So that's my directorial, "A House Ain't a Home," which I also star in. And we spent New Year's Eve there, and it's been amazing. And I have a book tour all over the country right now, so it's been amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic, Darrin. But for me, let me ask you, you sound like a really solid brother and like, the aura all around you and all that good stuff. What does spirituality mean to you?
What does it mean to me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, we are spirit,
Mm,
so it's everything.
that's
Uh,
right.
so people focus on only what they can see, but most of what's going on is what we can't see.
Right.
And so spirituality is oneness with the divine. And so I think it's important for people to really, if they haven't, to get in tune with spirit, because that means they would be getting in tune with their real self, right?
Yeah.
Like physical
Yeah.
is only a small percentage of who we are. Everything around us is spirit, is energy. The things that we invite to us, the things that we attract to us, the things that we are attracted to is really all energetic. So I think it's a culmination of our awareness that will afford us the opportunity for more success, whether it's in spirituality, physicality, mentality, whether it's relationships, in business, or with people. It creates a better relationship when you get in tune with spirit.
I like that, man. And you're an actor and you're also a dancer. So how does that kinetic, that movement energy and that spirituality, how do they kind of flow together?
What does spirit mean to me? We're all spirit. And it's important for us to get in touch with spirit, which is merely energy. And
Yes.
so as soon as we cognitively connect that our lives and the outcome of our lives are working through spirit, the better off we'll be. Whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's introspective work that we have to do on ourselves, we have to go in spirit to do that work. And so most people only focus on what they see. Most of what's going on around us is what's unseen.
Yes. I love that, Darrin. So Darrin, tell me, you're a Brooklyn guy.
No,
No,
not
where are you from? Where are you from in New York?
born and raised in the Bronx.
In the Bronx. I knew, man, I knew it was a B. I just messed it up. I mean, what you expect? I'm from
It's
LA.
okay. Ever since Biggie, everybody goes to Brooklyn now.
Right. As opposed to the Bronx, right? Yeah. So tell me, what was it like growing up in the Bronx?
Growing up in the Bronx was amazing. It was, people say it was tough. It was creative. I don't know how tough it was, meaning there's always things that we go through in life. As
Yes.
children, you get picked on, you go through your growing pains, you go through your first, heartaches, your broken heart, your loves. It was creative for me. It was fun. It was those growing experiences. I say you grow through it. You go through it to grow through it so you can ultimately glow through it.
Right.
Because of the Bronx, I'm getting to glow through life now.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Spinning on cardboard boxes, growing up in the creation of hip hop, the music at that time, the films at that time, all set a precedence in my life, things that I can call on now as an actor, as a performer, that I can use and utilize in my work now.
Yeah, what was it about the Bronx, man? What do you think that it was that kind of fed that, that spirit?
I just think that we had come out of the 60s
Mm.
Into the 70s, where it was about free love, where it was about creativity and music, where it was about dance, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, I think. And then again, hip hop was born in the Bronx. So I was just really in the midst of artistic cultivation, freedom, and expression.
Yeah, I like that, man. And so how did that manifest as dance for you originally?
Well, like I said, growing up, we didn't have helicopters.
Right.
For one, but um, growing up in New York in the creative space with dance, we had the Jackson Five, we had James Brown, we had Soul Train, we had American Bandstand. We just had dance, and so it was always in front of us. So it was something for me to learn from and to be activated from. And of course, as a child, is where I started to hone in my form of expression, my form of communication, and that was dance, which led to me to the choreographic space that I lived in for so many years.
Yes.
It actually sharpened me as a young entertainer in junior high school, in high school, which was my first professional job when I was in the 10th grade. And I met Scott Sterling. The world got to know him as DJ Scott La Rock.
Right.
I talk about these times in my documentary, The Untold Darrin Henson Story, which can be seen on Amazon Prime or on the All Black Network. You can stream that. But I talk about these amazing times growing up in New York City, growing up in the Bronx, and learning and sharpening my skills as a street dancer, not a trained dancer. People go, "Oh, you trained?" I said, "Yeah, I took the 6 train to my audition." So yeah, I'm trained.
Right.
But I really had a lot of influences, coming out and being able to watch all the old MGM musicals. I got to watch Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, West Side Story, The Wizard of Oz, again, the Jacksons, James Brown. It was just, Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire, the Nicholas Brothers, Diana Ross. I mean, these were amazing, amazing performers.
And what I think is so interesting about what you said, Darrin, is that, coming from a street performance background, but then watching all of those old dancing greats, it probably sets you up perfectly to choreograph pop videos, because stylistically and movement, you had that from watching it, and then you had that street performance background that went along with pop music.
I couldn't have said it any better, and you set the question up great. But really that statement is incredibly true. it afforded me the opportunity again to express myself from a dance creative into music videos. And at that time, there was a company called Classic Concept Productions run by Lionel Martin. It was a big station on at that time, which was Channel 31 in New York City. And Ralph McDaniels and Lionel Martin created that. And for me, it was my first home when it came to dance and choreography. You know, I choreographed High Five, She's Playing Hard to Get early on, Color Me Bad, Sex You Up, you know, SWV's first song, Right Here, and So Into You. I choreographed Lisa's Let the Beat Hit 'Em, CNC Music Factory's Things That Make You Go Home.
Yeah.
Michael, Killer Papa. I mean, early music videos. You know, before I started doing NSYNC, Britney Spears, J-Lo, before all of that. You know, Jennifer Lopez was a dancer. You know, if you look at Richard Rodgers' Can't Stop Loving You, J-Lo is, at that time, Jennifer Lopez is my dance partner in that video. So really, it shaped me. You know, being in the Bronx, growing up in the Bronx and music, it shaped me as an entertainer very early on.
Right. And how did those opportunities present themselves for you in the beginning, Darrin? I mean, to have such a phenomenal career at a young age and with so many flourishing and shining artists, how did that come about?
Well, you know what they say, whatever you're looking for is also looking for you.
I like
I,
that.
I couldn't tell you how they happened. They just did. I would leave the house in the morning and my steps were ordered, and I would take advantage of every opportunity I had. I never said no. There's a movie that Jim Carrey did called Yes Man. I completely believe in that. You just say yes to every opportunity, hold the vision, and trust the process. And
Yeah.
it just kept happening. They kept happening. You know, if somebody invited me somewhere, I went. If somebody asked me if I could, I said yes. Even if I didn't know how, I said yes. And I figured it out. You know, I just took advantage of every opportunity that came along. And when I was invited to a dance class to learn a different style of dance, I said yes. You know, when somebody invited me to a play, I said yes. There was no, there were very few times that I said no to any invitation of anything, because I knew saying yes would afford me the space to learn, the space to be cultivated, the space to see something new that I would be able to use in my life and
Yes.
be activated from.
And not being a formally trained dancer, what was one of your most challenging videos that you had to do?
Well, I think well, I'll tell you this story. I choreographed Enrique Iglesias's Bailamos. Now, everybody knows that Enrique Iglesias, he's a Latin artist, and you have salsa and you have merengue and bachata. Well, I had to learn these styles of dances in order to choreograph the video.
Yes.
And so I enlisted a help of a amazing choreographer that was working at Broadway Dance Center, Maria, who and her last name escapes me right now, unfortunately, but she was known as this amazing salsa dancer. So I went in and I took her classes and learned the style and learned from her, you know, in order to choreograph the video. And so things like that, again, education is always going to be key. We have to learn. And
Yes.
so we put ourselves in a position to learn, and then we do.
And what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment as a dancer?
You know, years ago, I would say working with Michael Jackson and Prince.
Wow.
Today, I wouldn't separate them, because everything that I've done, winning the MTV Music Award for Bye Bye Bye, working and choreographing for Prince, working for Michael Jackson and choreographing one time for Michael Jackson. Choreographing the New Kids on the Block for the American Music Awards, choreographing J-Lo for the American Music Awards. Like, how can you separate any of those magnificent feats? They're all under the same roof, under the same umbrella as grateful opportunities of expansion.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like that a lot. If you could do more in the future with dance, what would you like to do that you haven't not done yet?
Oh, that's a great question. I would love to see my life story on a Broadway stage. I had a DVD out years ago called Darrin's Dance Grooves.
Right.
And now I have a documentary. I would love to tell the story about this young guy from the Bronx who had a dream, whose dream came true. I mean, it's really like the Wizard of Oz, right? Like, I didn't know how, but I left my original home. I didn't know how, but like the Scarecrow, I figured it out. I was scared sometimes, but my heart and my passion followed through, and I had to have courage to get through it all. And I
Right.
clicked my heels and figured it out.
Yeah.
It really is the Wizard of Oz story, told from my life.
So at this point, what actor would play Darrin Dewitt Henson in that musical on Broadway?
Oh, I don't know. It would have to be somebody who could dance. It
Yeah.
would have to be somebody who's passionate. It would have to be somebody who I'd love to see Wood play me, the gentleman that played Bobby Brown.
Ah, yeah.
I think he would do an amazing job.
Yes.
I think he would be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
David Talbert, the amazing playwright and director, calls me Black to the Future.
Black to the Future. Why, man? Tell me why.
He says that I always have my finger on the pulse, and so I take it and I run with it.
Right, right, right. That's good, man. That's good. Let's talk about acting. Okay, so you're this dancer, you're a choreographer. How do you make your foray into film and television?
I can tell you the date. It was in 1999, in September. Jordan Knight and I were nominated for Best Dance Video for MTV Music Award. We lost to Ricky Martin for Vida Loca. But an amazing nomination nonetheless, an amazing dance video. It was called Give It To You, that I choreographed for Jordan Knight, former member of the New Kids on the Block, which is still now the New Kids on the Block, and he's still now a member. But at that time, he had a solo album. And I remember crying when we lost.
Mm.
It was so amazing because at that time, I had done everything that I wanted to do, except win an MTV Music Award. Hadn't done that yet. So I said, you know what? I've worked with Michael. I've worked with Prince. I've done everything in between, the Spice Girls, George Michael. I've worked with greats like Donna Summer, everybody that I wanted to work with. I'm going to start acting. So I go on this open call for a television series called Soul Food.
That was your first gig. I did not know that, man. Go ahead, continue.
For television, and I booked the role. Felicia D. Henderson, who was the showrunner and the writer.
Shout out to Felicia, love her to pieces.
Felicia, oh man, I love that woman so much.
Yes.
And I remember I auditioned again, then the callbacks, and then she said, listen, this is your role. Go in and do the work. And it gave me enough strength to just go in and really make it happen. And I got casted. I remember leaving the audition and I drove away maybe 5 blocks and my phone rang and my agent said, pack your bags, you're going to Toronto.
Wow.
I mean,
I mean, that's crazy, man. And it's not like that you weren't already a seasoned performer with dance and choreography, but your first television acting role, you book it, right off the bat.
Hit series, first all black produced, written, dramatic television show. I mean, it's historical, it's phenomenal, and now I'm on Soul Food for 5 seasons. And I get a call from Johnny Wright, I think it was in June, and he says, the guys want you back. They're doing their album, which is the release from the company that they were with, and the gentleman who basically had owned their rights, and Lou Pearlman, and the guys want you. And I was like, nah, I'm an actor now. I don't dance anymore.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah. And Johnny didn't take, Johnny didn't, he said, no, the guys want you. And the bottom line is they convinced me to come back and choreographed, choreographed Bye Bye Bye, which, as we know, in September of 2000, I won the MTV Music Award. So I'm so grateful for Johnny convincing me, and I'm so grateful that the guys wanted me to come and do it for them instead of going to someone else, and because my dream came true. So
isn't that interesting, Darrin, how that works out? How you go from not winning when you really, really wanted to win, and that forced you, I'm not going to say led you to, but forced you into acting. You book your first role on one of the greatest shows of all time, and then you go back and choreograph a video that you really didn't want to do, and then you win the MTV award.
It says quite a few things to me. It says path of least resistance is very important.
Yes.
It also says just because you desire something in the moment doesn't mean you're going to get it in the moment. And then it says you have to exercise patience.
That's right.
And trust. And so again, if you follow your own yellow brick road, you'll find your way.
Yeah.
You'll find your way. And don't say no. Don't resist. Path of least resistance. Don't resist. Because had I said absolutely not, that would have been resistant. I wouldn't have won my MTV Music Award. And so, it was meant to be. And it was meant for me to learn those lessons early on in life. So when someone introduces something to me now, I have to make calculated decisions, be open to it. And if it's something that I really want, then hold the vision and trust the process.
Yeah.
And if it's something you don't want, then know that too.
Yeah. And so many phenomenal, talented individuals came from that show. So, I mean, and that we still see today and that we still know and love, man. It's just
that viable talent today. Again, our showrunner, Felicia D. Henderson, is an amazing writer doing so much stuff today in 2024. Melinda Williams, Vanessa Williams, Aaron Meeks, Rockman Dunbar, Nicole Ari Parker, Boris Kojo.
Yes.
Just everybody. Michael Jai White,
Right.
I mean, just so many people, came on the show and blessed us with their talent,
Love it, man. Let's move on up. Let's move on up to where we are now. Let's talk about the family business, man. I mean, I don't even know where to start.
You know what really is amazing? When I talk about gratitude, I'm on 2 hit shows. The Family Business being one of them, written by Carl Weber, created by Carl Weber, and Tridestined, and Double Cross, the Double Cross series.
Right.
Both shows are in their 5th season. Netflix is now airing The Family Business. It's also on BET and BET Plus, and Double Cross can be seen on the All Black Network, which is the same network that plays my documentary. So it's amazing. First, starting off with The Family Business.
Yes.
Can we say wow?
Wow, indeed.
Can we say phenomenal?
Can we say phenomenal indeed?
Can we say Ernie Hudson, Valerie Pettiford? I mean, it's amazing having them as the matriarch and the patriarch of the show and getting to work with those two brilliant talents on screen, you know, I'm still in awe of them. Whenever we do scenes, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's so amazing to be able to go to work and love on them as human beings, and to be in scenes with them that you know are going to have this great cacophony in them every scene that you're in with them.
Yes.
Just awesome work, and I'm just so proud and so grateful to be on this show.
Darrin, with a cast that large, how do you stay humble?
I don't know that I'm a humble person at all.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean that. I take pride in what I do, and I don't know that I'm humble, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and because I have gratitude, that affords me to acknowledge in everything I do the Most High, and knowing that my steps are ordered, and knowing that my history is not yet fully written, I still have work to do. So it's being grateful and knowing that I still have work to do that keeps me present.
Yeah.
So I don't have time to brag. The work is the work. And for those people that love the work, I let them talk about it. I stay in the present of doing the work.
Yeah. Talk to me about Double Cross. I was not aware. So tell me, please, about it.
Double Cross is another brilliant series written by Crystal Gibson, directed by Crystal and Howard Gibson. You know, we have quite a few directors on the show that come in and play with us. You know, it's a vigilante show that's kind of like back in the days, Charles Bronson Death Wish. They're vigilantes for good, and they're twins, a brother and sister, and I actually play the head detective on the show, and I also produce the show. And it's about child kidnapping, and these two individuals, the twins, one's a straight vigilante, and the other is a doctor.
Interesting.
But they were, you know, they were brought up in a precarious way when they were younger, and not trafficked, but held down, and they decided to do something about it in their adulthood. And it's a really dynamic show about doing something about the bad things that are happening in society. But again, they are vigilantes, and I can't let people go around killing, even though they're bad people. You can't go around killing people in society. And so my job is, as the detective in the Heights city, you know, is to do something about that. But they actually helped me in our third season, because my daughter gets kidnapped. And so the people that are foes become allies.
That changes things.
Storyline. It's a very amazing, you know, dynamic show. And we're in our 5th season right now.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about this new project that you're working on. A House Ain't a Home. Is that right?
Yes, A House Ain't a Home.
A House Ain't a Home. Talk to me about it.
You know, this film I directed, wrote, and produced. It's on my website right now. It can be streamed on my website, thedarrinhenson.com, and it's about family. It's in a similar fashion, the way Soul Food was, where it talked about the daughters. This talks about the brothers, and it's about how men need to communicate with each other. It's about growing pains. It's about communication. It's about responsibility. You know, the oldest character, Ed, in there, he's in the midst of, you know, growing his life with his woman, but they find adversity because he's not letting go. And this woman teaches him a very, very valuable lesson in the show, in the movie. And the youngest brother is going through growing pains, and he's dealing with not being recognized in the household, and his teacher takes some very, very interesting interest in him. And my character in the movie, you know, is a frustrated writer, and he's looking for a book deal. And then we have another character who's in college, who's an amazing football player, and he's got scholarships, but he also, you know, is spending too much time with the women, and his ego. And so it tells the story about an American family who's dealing with growing pains. And it's so well received right now. It's so awesome, the feedback I'm getting about A House Ain't a Home, and the streaming is picking up right now. And we decided to do direct sales and direct streaming on the website. And I'm actually going around the country also doing movie premieres. You know, it's a thought that I had. A lot of people see movie premieres on you know, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, but they never get a chance to go to a movie premiere. I wanted to be able to give people a movie premiere experience. So I'm taking the movie around the country as well, and doing movie premieres all over the country.
Yeah, Darrin, and this move, when I was listening to you break down, you know, that, you know, you wrote it, produced it, directed, and it's on your website. Seems
Yes.
very strategic. Talk to me about that part of it, and owner and creator owned properties.
And it's, you can hear me, right?
Oh, yes.
You can see me?
Yes.
Awesome. It's, so I believe in owning your intellectual property. That's number one. As a businessman, as a business owner, own your intellectual properties, because then nobody owns you. And so you can do what you want with your content. It's very, very important. Ownership is key. And hopefully people are getting tuned in, tapped in, and turned on to that. Very, very important to own your content. So as the owner of the content, I can do what I want with it. I can stream it. I can take it around the country. I can do what I want with it. And, you know,
That also leaves several opportunities for income stream from different sources.
100%, or in some cases 1000%, right?
Right.
And so I'm doing that, and I'm also doing talkbacks. I want to help people. I want to help people grow. I want to help people move into the space that I'm in. You know, there are a lot of people who want to act, and I tell them, well, the first thing you have to do is educate yourself about the particular business that you want to be in. And so it's key and it's important that we all educate ourselves in the particular field that we'd like to go in. And so because I also star in the film as an actor, and I produced the film and directed it, I can have those conversations.
Yeah, very good, man. What was the inspiration behind the story?
Well, really is to communicate. Men have to communicate with each other. We're hurting, especially in this country, because men are not communicating, because men don't talk about the pain that they go through, mental pain. They don't talk about the abuse that they've dealt with, or are dealing with. And so I wanted to get back, especially with the Black diaspora, where showing that communication is manly, showing that communication is intelligent, showing that communication will afford you empathy from others. So let's talk, let's have a discussion, and let's get back to the family unit, female and male. Let's bring the families back together again.
Right. And then we have several different male characters. Is there a cross section of society reflected in those characters?
Absolutely. It's a very diverse cast. We have Caucasian actors, Latino actors, African-American actors. Yes.
Yeah. And then Darren, for you, like with Soul Food, we saw a lot of emerging talent coming from Soul Food. Were you conscious of that when in the casting process for this project?
Yes, yes, we have some first time actors on there. But for the most part, these are actors who are working actors in society today. But we do have new actors, my wife being one of them. She's done 2 movies in the last year, but the first time actor, and
Yeah.
she's phenomenal.
Man, I'm glad that you said that because, people want to talk about nepotism, but especially when it comes to us, when there are other folks, it's just kind of embraced. But with us, people want to read into helping the people that we love. Talk to me about that.
That's really important. Each one teach one, we can reach one.
Right.
We believe, keep it in the family, create a family infrastructure, create a family of wealth, create a family vision of opportunity that is perpetuated in family in generations to come. I think when we say that, we talk about the Wayans, right? Perfect example
Yes.
of family infrastructure. The Jacksons, perfect infrastructure of family conversations. So I think if we don't do it, who will?
Hmm.
So, it's very important to be the first. If you are the first, get it done.
That's right. And then make sure that you spread it to the ones that you love, especially if they are qualified to do it. And that even goes outside of that circle to your friends and to your colleagues. If there are people that are capable of doing the job, why not work where you're comfortable?
Qualified is the key word, though.
That's right.
Just do it
Absolutely.
because of family, but make sure the family wants to do it. Make sure they're ready to do it because it's a service. I believe that my viewers, we're servicing them, and we want to give them the best quality that we can give them.
Yeah. Do you want to expand your website to host more of your projects and possibly others?
Oh, we're doing that now. So on thedarrinhenson.com, I tell you what we offer. We offer the ability to stream the movie. We offer you the ability to come to our events. I have an event in New York City at the Sugar Bar on January 30th. I have an event in Chicago on January 13th. You can actually purchase those events on my website. Also, if anybody wants a video shout out, personal video shout out, you can come to my website and get that. If anybody wants a business shout out video, they can purchase that on my website. If you're looking for inspirational shirts that say, we go through it to grow through it to glow through it, or I'm a spiritual warrior, I fight my battles through prayer, or I am more than enough and I approve this message. You go to the website, you can get those shirts. If you want to purchase any one of my books, The Intimate Thoughts and the Spirit of Change, Ain't That the Truth? Life's Teachable Moments, you can go to my website and get those books. We are one-stop shop.
Love that, Darrin. What's next for you, man? Or what do you want to do next?
Well, I'm actually developing a musical right now that's going to be a touring play. So we're looking to be up in April around the country. Also, again, working on a musical about my life story,
So
which
that
is,
is happening.
oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I love that. Yes.
we're actively working on that. And we're also penning the second film from A House Ain't a Home. So when you watch the movie, there's a follow-up storyline that's very dynamic. And
Yes.
then I'm continuing. We have about another 3 weeks before we finish the 5th season of The Family Business. And Double Cross, 5th season, will air on the All Black Network on January 18th.
Love it, Darrin. And where can everybody find you on social media?
Everybody can find me on Instagram at I am Darrin D. Henson, on Facebook at Darrin Dewitt Henson, and on my website, mostly www.thedarrinhenson.com.
All right, Darrin, this has been a pleasure, man. Thank you for joining me on Black in the Green Room. I really appreciate it.
Keith, it's been amazing spending time for you. And to all of the viewers and listeners out there, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Be sure to follow me, Keith Underwood, at Mr. Keith L. Underwood on IG. You can also follow me on FB at Keith L. Underwood. And you know you gotta follow Black in the Green Room at Black in the Green Room across all platforms. Until next time, this has been Black in the Green Room.